morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay. This is the Rules Committee. We have finally attained a quorum with Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, Councilman Heenan, Councilman Taubenberger, and Councilwoman Blackwell has been appointed to the committee, and myself, Bill Greenlee. And welcome, everybody. Ms. Marconi, will you please read the title of the first bill before us?
Bill number 180698, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Woodbine Avenue, Upland Way, 54th Street, Jefferson Street, 52nd Street, Media Street, and 63rd Street.
Thank you. Mr. Gregorski, good morning.
Good morning, Councilman Greenlee, members of the Rules Committee. I'm Marty Gregorski, the Division Director of the Development Division within the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. Here to testify on Bill number 180698, which was introduced in the City Council on June 21st of this year by Councilmember Jones. Bill number 180698 amends the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designation of certain areas of land located within the area bounded by Woodbine Avenue, Upland Way, 54th Street, Jefferson Street, 52nd Street, Media Street, and 63rd Street. This bill rezones part of the Overbrook neighborhood in the West Planning District of Philadelphia. This bill is intended for corrective remapping purposes and advancement of the goals and recommendations of the Philly 2035 West District Plan, specifically to preserve the existing single-family housing, match zoning to existing land use, concentrate and strengthen commercial corridors, and promote multifamily uses along commercial corridors and transit. Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill number 180698 at its meeting of July 17th of this year and recommended it for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gregorski. I think we have an amendment that just makes some technical
It's a minor
changes
technical mapping.
in the map. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Gregorski on this bill? Seeing none, anyone else here to testify on Bill number 180698? Seeing none, Ms. Marconi, our next bill, please.
Bill number 180732, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Parker Avenue, Ridge Avenue, Cinnamon Street, and Mitchell Street.
Good morning, Councilman Greenlee, members of the Rules Committee. Marty Gregorski, Division Director with the Planning Commission, here to testify on Bill number 180732, which was introduced in the City Council on September 13th of this year by Councilmember Jones. Bill number 180732 amends the Philadelphia zoning maps by remapping an area bounded by Parker Ave, Ridge Avenue, Cinnamon Street, and Mitchell Street. The bill is intended for corrective remapping purposes and advancement of the goals and recommendations of the Philadelphia 2035 Lower Northwest District Plan, specifically to remap to match the prevailing use, lot size, and/or width. The Philadelphia City Planning Commission will consider Bill number 180732 at its meeting of October 16th of this year and will recommend it for approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. I don't believe there's any amendment here.
No.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Gregorski on this bill? Seeing none, anyone else here to testify on Bill number 180732? Seeing none, before we go to the next bill, I neglected to mention that Bill number 180736 was introduced by Councilwoman Sanchez. At her request, will be held to the call of the chair. Ms. Marconi, our next bill, please.
Bill number 180645, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Broad Street, Master Street, 13th Street, Girard Avenue, Watch Street, and Thompson Street, and to amend the master plan for Temple University, all under certain terms and conditions.
Good morning, Councilman Greenlee, members of the committee. I'm Marty Gregorski with the Planning Commission, here to testify on Bill number 180645, which was introduced in the City Council on June 14th of this year by Councilmember Greenlee for Council President Clark. Bill number 180645 rezones 1301 North Broad Street from Special Purpose Institutional SPINS District to Community Commercial Mixed Use CMX3 District. The bill is consistent with the Philly 2035 Lower North District Plan recommendation that the site be zoned to CMX3 to encourage higher density development and increased activity along North Broad Street. Further, the rezoning is compatible with the surrounding zoning districts. This bill proposes a master plan amendment for Temple University by removing 1301 North Broad Street from the Temple University SPINS District and reducing the district's total area by 35,844 square feet. This minor reduction, less than 1% of Temple's SPINS area, does not affect the university's compliance with the other SPINS district land use controls, namely gross floor area maximums, occupied area maximums, and parking space minimums. William Penn High School previously occupied this site, which is currently used as an athletic field. Temple University is considering a sale to the Laborers Union, who have expressed interest in relocating their education and training center to this site. Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill number 180645 at its meeting of September 18th of this year and recommended it for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. And just for the record, this does not expand Temple University land at all. In fact, it actually is the opposite, correct?
That's correct. Temple is losing land that's going to be rezoned to something else so that Temple cannot use it any further.
And we're going to hear from Mr. Boyer to explain that a little further. Any, and we have an amendment. Is that technical in nature? pretty
It's
much?
the master plan amendment is being added to this.
Okay, right. Any questions for Mr. Gregorski on this bill? Seeing none, Ms. Marconi, our other witnesses?
Ryan Boyer.
Good morning, Mr. Boyer. Please identify yourself and proceed.
Good morning, Chairman Greenlee and distinguished members of the Rules Committee. I'm privileged to discuss the Labor's District Council transformational project on North Broad Street. The late, great Malcolm X once said, "Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today." We strongly believe that our facility will provide underserved people with a passport out of poverty and into prosperity. It is our intent to build a state-of-the-art 60,000 square foot facility that will function as the primary training and apprentice hub for our 6,500 members. Additionally, we have partnered with the community and the prestigious Temple University to help the broader community to improve their skills in reading and math to better prepare them for successful acceptance into the building trades apprenticeship programs. We will leverage our expertise and relationships in the union construction industry to prepare these ladies and gentlemen for successful careers in the building trades. We will work with the neighboring community groups to specifically recruit from the adjacent zip codes, which include 4 PHA housing developments and several low-income apartment complexes. Our goals are completely and totally compatible with the goals of City Council when you guys negotiated and signed an historic memorandum of understanding with the Mayor's Office and the Philadelphia Building Trades to ensure that our construction workforce reflect the diversity of our city. That is what we want, and we put our money where our mouth is by dedicating $24 million to this construction project and also the implementation of programs necessary to achieve success. However, your support is vital and to make this vision a reality. On behalf of our 6,500 members, I would like to thank this august body for your time, and with you as our partners, we will make the city proud and give our youth a permanent passport out of poverty.
Thank you, sir. Sounds like a great plan. Any questions for Mr. Boyer? Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any questions, but I do want to make a statement and say thank you for, not only what you do to employ local residents, but to educate members of this body and those who are listening and watching and paying attention, right, that the laborers have an extensive training program, all right? And, we don't, building trades don't just hire people who are not trained. We train people, right, how to be safe, OSHA trained and everything like that. So you get a quality workman or workwoman who is knowledgeable in the craft as they lead the trades and being, in the forefront of making sure that training and safety comes first. So I want to continue to thank you for what you do and staying in front of making sure that we have opportunities for people to have careers instead of jobs. So thank you.
Thank you for all you do as well.
Thank you. Councilman Topperberger.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and Mr. Boyer, thank you for your leadership in coming down here today. And I thought the quote from Malcolm X is very appropriate today, tomorrow, and always, because education is the future for everybody, and it belongs to the people who prepare for it today. Nothing better can be said. One question, approximately how many apprentices do you have going through at any time?
Well, our apprentices meet the need of the industry right now because we had the economic downturn in 2008. We're just now coming up with an apprenticeship class, but routinely about 60% of all of our journeymen start out as apprentices, and we're trying to take that number up to 100%.
Okay.
So, and most of the trades is 100%, but we have always had a more lenient entry point because of we're the entry point for a lot of people with low to no skill to get in the building trades, but we're changing that, and so we'll be up to 100% probably in the next 4 to 5 years. So every person that comes and becomes a laborer will be an apprentice first.
Well, that's a fantastic plan, and any place that I can be a part of it in helping you, I will. And thank you again for your testimony and your support for our youth.
Thank you.
It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Reynolds Brown?
Yeah, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Councilman Taltenberger read my script in front of me, because I too want to say thank you for your leadership. It does matter that we have men in the labor sector take a leadership role and are very intentional about ensuring that young people from Philadelphia gain the deserved opportunity for what you're doing. Please speak to the strategies you have in mind that move you to ensuring that we hit that 100 number over the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, the strategies we believe in what has worked will work. We had a program called the Diversity Apprenticeship Program that worked, and to this day, over 72% of people of color that's in the building trades came through that program, and that's in all of the core discipline, the plumbers, the electrician. So that program was successful. Again, the economy stopped it, so we're going to take that model, but we're going to also laser focus our recruiting to people that traditionally have not had access to the trades, and we're going to recruit, we're going to train them, and we're going to make sure that they're successful. And I know that you have been a stalwart at, making companies transparent on their members of the board and how many members are female. I will have you to know that we have about 3 high-ranking women in leadership positions in my local, so we did that so that we can obviously recruit women, which we had problems with, to be honest.
Sure.
But we think that we have a solid, cohesive plan. We have the support of Senator Hughes in the form of a grant, so we can have programmatic help, so that we can have case managers, so that we just don't say if you don't have a license you can't apply. The case managers will walk you through getting your license, getting your credit together, all these things that it takes to make a successful career, as Councilman Heenan said, not just a job. When you're doing this, you need a license because you need a job. Our territory is the 5-county region, so we're going to educate them up, and we're going to get the hard skills from Temple University because, quite frankly, some of our people, our young people coming out of these schools aren't prepared for the rigorous amount of math that it takes to be a successful tradesman, and the reading, because there's a lot of technical reading with safety brochures and the like, and different specs on the way you build this. The way you build this column with this system is not the same way you build it with another system, and you may have to have some complex reading. Not the volume of reading, but what you read, you have to be able to comprehend at a very high level.
Absolutely, absolutely. The adage about that is children learn to read from K through 3, and then they read to learn from 4th grade on.
Yes.
So if
Having
they show
been
up in
married
6th
to
grade,
been married to a elementary school teacher, I've heard that many
get that.
times. Yes.
All right. So is that to suggest that there is a tangible partnership with Temple for them to provide that type of
Absolutely.
educational expertise?
Yes. A complete tangible partnership. We have a memorandum of understanding that we're going to sign similar to the one you have that's going to say exactly what they're going to teach. Obviously, we'll teach the construction skills and the construction readiness, but they do a better job with teaching adults how to read and write, so we're going to let them do what they do, and we'll do what we do, and we'll make a dent in this population.
Any relationship with Philadelphia OIC? And my final question is solar in the pipeline curriculum? Because solar, we know that solar is the future. No one entity, no one labor union should have a monopoly on it. And so when you look at the number of children that are not graduating and the need to cast a net wide by multiple stakeholders who can make a difference in solar, where are you all or in that space?
The answer to the OIC question is no. That's not saying that we couldn't, but we have been talking to Community College of Philadelphia and Dr. Generals because they have, and speaking of energy, they have a gas pipeline distribution class that they're graduating people from, yet they have no employers. 95% of the gas distribution employers are signed to our council. So we're going to try to make a partnership work where we train the people, and again, let community college do what they do best and train people to go to four-year colleges and not technical education. I think they kind of was forced into that, and I'm working with Dr. Generals to try to figure out how we could work through. He's training people, but they have no jobs. We have the jobs, and we also train people with ANSI certified, NGC certified gas distribution. So he could just take that money and repurpose it somewhere else. But we don't have, and in terms of energy, we have an all of above solution to energy, but we would much rather train the people and put them in the appropriate craft and have everyone spread out. We don't want to take everyone in the building trades of color. We want the building trades to reflect the diversity of colors, of genders, of everything in this city. And that is our goal, to do what we do and let the other crafts do what they do.
And who, in your view, should have the responsibility for, to now quote my colleague, Councilman Jones, of course I say if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist, it's just hyperbole and rhetoric, who might have the responsibility to monitor and measure the results of what we ultimately see on paper?
Well, for us, it's private entity to private entity, but how we did the DAP program before, every year before we left, we had in writing commitments for apprenticeship for DAP students that graduated. So I'm looking at Bobby, so I'm gonna pick on the IBEW. So the IBEW will say they'll take 5, the carpenters will take 4, the operating engineers will take 5. We get those commitments every year in writing. So once we graduate a student, we know where we're going to place those students in those apprenticeship programs because we know that we prepared them, they've done well on the test, and they're great applicants. So that's why we say we leverage our expertise in the industry to do it. So once you put it in writing, it's usually done, and we're welcome. When Wilson Good asked years ago to open our books, we were very transparent then, and we're transparent now. So anyone can monitor us, we don't care.
Okay, so my ask would be that you tell that story, because those leaders that get it, understand it, see its value, need to be lifted up and saluted that way, and not all put in the same bucket with those who share different ideology.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm glad we're having this conversation because some of the skill sets that we were talking about solar and energy and everything like that. I know the laborers are, extremely qualified and trained in the retrofitting and weatherization and some really niche skill sets that will last for a lifetime. And lastly, we talk about, the councilwoman was just talking about that she was happy that you're having this public conversation. I can't be more proud, all right, to be a member of the building trades and to have grown up in the building trades. And you and I and other business managers have actually risen, through the leadership within the trades itself. And, we have gotten a little sharper, all right, and a little better in what we do, but we haven't changed the core values of who we are and where we come from. So I think some of the things that we haven't done before we're starting to do is which we always have been doing, is not taking credit for doing the good deeds and training people and helping with families and making sure that they have health care when people in second chances. Where else do they go? I mean, a lot of them go right to the building trade. So we are indeed, all right, and an example, and has been an example for decades for Philadelphians to go to work. So I'm happy that you had the opportunity to touch on a little of that, and I look forward to working with everybody as we move forward, because we are an example of we're the model, right? And people should emulate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Boer, I think we like what you're doing. Could you pick that up or what? Is there anyone else here to testify on bill number 180645?
We do need.
Seeing none, we have one more bill. Ms. Marconi, please. Oh. What? Yeah, oh, okay, we do have a quorum. Okay. Yeah, record will note Council President Clark is present. Yes, you are, because we need a quorum, sir.
We need a quorum.
You're here. Ms. Marconi, our last bill, please.
Bill number 180697, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within area bounded by Parkside Avenue, Belmont Avenue, Girard Avenue, Merion Avenue, and 52nd Street.
Mr. Gregorski.
Good morning, Mr. Councilman Greenlee, members of the Rules Committee. Marty Gregorski with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission, here to testify on bill number 180697, which was introduced in the City Council on June 21st of this year by Councilmember Jones. Bill number 180697 amends the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Parkside Avenue, Belmont Avenue, Girard Avenue, Merion Avenue, and 52nd Street. The bill extends the existing CMX3 commercial mixed-use zoning between 51st Street and 48th Street along Parkside Avenue, an additional parcel to the east. Commission staff has worked with Councilman Jones' office on this remapping. The Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered bill number 180697 at its meeting of July 17th of this year and recommended it for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. No amendments here, right?
No amendments.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Gregorski on this bill? Seeing none, anyone else here to testify on bill number 180697? Seeing none, that completes our hearing of the Rules Committee today. We will now go into a public meeting and move the two amendments first. Okay, this gets amended, so move those two amendments first. And then the whole.
Okay.
This is the meeting of the Rules Committee. Chair recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for the amendments of bill number 180645 and 180698 be voted with a favorable recommendation.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded on the adoption of the amendments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the amendments as read by Councilman Heenan are adopted. Again, Chair recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move for a motion to approve bill number 180645 as amended, bill number 180697, 180698 as amended, 180732 with a favorable recommendation and the suspension of the rules as to be heard at the next council session.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the bills with the appropriate amendments as read by Councilman Heenan are approved by this committee with a rule suspension to allow for first reading at our next session of council. That completes the agenda of the Rules Committee today. Thank you all for your participation.